Hi, I'm John. I'm an engineer by trade and also a specialist in fitness equipment. I'm going to give you some tips and advice with regard to how you can maintain your fitness machine. This is a cross trainer here. This is a Tri-Fit cross trainer. And I'm going to use this to show you the different applications for the various lubricants and cleaning products that are available to help you get the most life out of the machine. So this is the kind of thing you might need to do after 6 or 12 months of using the machine. We've got a selection of light lubricants. This is WD-40. There's a similar product here. This is the one that we use. This is called Gibbs. Both are very good for lubricating slideways and for getting into bearings. It's a very, very fine lubricant. So we use that for general purpose. There's a product here called Threadlock. This is very good at securing nuts and bolts, which perhaps have a tendency to work loose over time. So that's very handy if you've got some of that. We've got some lithium grease. This is also very handy. It's a lot thicker actually than this kind of product, but very good for shafts and again for bearings. And a 3-in-1 oil, or a sewing machine or bicycle chain oil, that kind of thing. It's the sort of thing you'd have around your shed or your garage. That also is a very good product. I'll show you where we put that. And finally, this is often overlooked, cleaning. This is a cleaning product. These are sort of kind of wet wipes, if you like. You know, they're antibacterial, but also very good at removing grease and waxy deposits off machines. So, for example, perspiration. So it's very handy if you can get some of these or a similar kind of product. So it's worth, after every time you've had a workout, is to just give the machine a wipe over in the critical areas. So particularly the arms on cross trainers, down the stems and the columns, and you'll just help keep corrosion away. And onto the top of the skis. We tend to find that corrosion really forms around these areas and down in the base of the machine as well. So if you can get it before it gets down there, that'll be great. Okay, so that's the cleaning product. With regard to the light lubricants, WD-40 or the Gibbs, for example, these are very good at just getting into things like bearings. So you can give it a little squirt in there. And a little squirt in there, and it will get past the rubber seals of the bearings and just reinvigorate the bearing. You don't need to put lots and lots on because it will just drip out and fall on the floor, but a little squirt now and again, once every 6 to 12 months, it will just keep the bearings nicely lubricated. And also you can use it on these adjusters, because again these can get waxy, fatty deposits built up, which makes them difficult to use. So a little bit of WD-40 or Gibbs on those keeps everything running smoothly. If you don't have those products, then your bicycle chain oil will do an equally good job really. It's a little bit thicker, so it's perhaps not as good at getting inside the bearings as the WD or the Gibbs, but still a very good product and better than nothing if you happen to have some of that instead. You can also put that on slideways. So for example, on this Tri-Fit machine, we've got an adjustment mechanism here. So what I can do is just pop that out, and then let's use the Gibbs on this one. Give it a little spray. I don't need too much, just work it in on the shaft there. There's a little spring release, make sure that's lubricated. And then you pop it back in and then tighten it back up. And any excess, just wipe away the excess with your cleaning cloth. Okay, so that's those. We've got Threadlock. This is an industrial product, but you can buy it from most hardware shops. It's commonly used, and you'd use it on nuts and bolts that have a tendency to work loose. So for example, this column bolt here, when you first get the machine, it's already got this blue sort of residue on the end of the bolt. That's actually Threadlock. The manufacturer puts it on the machine when you first receive it, so you don't have to bother. But if these bolts do have a tendency to work out and work loose over time, just pop a little bit of the Threadlock just on the end of the thread of the bolt there, and pop it back in. So you have to make sure that it's done up tight. It's not like a conventional adhesive that will just cure in air. It won't. You have to remove the air, and you have to have metal to metal contact for that to cure. So the only way to do that is to do your bolt up nice and tight, and then you get the conditions where it activates and sets. Very handy product, and it's good at keeping these sort of fixings in, which are load bearing fixings. And then finally we've got Grease, this is lithium grease. You can use general purpose, multi-purpose grease as well. It's quite thick. It's obviously very difficult to get into bearings and these sort of places, but it's very good for pivots, sliding pivots such as here, for example, where you've got a lot of load on this shaft. If you imagine you're stood on the pedals, this shaft is bearing all of your weight. So a little bit of the grease just on there. Again, you can just work that in. And we reassemble that. And that will keep any noises away. And you tighten it up, and that's good to go. Again, any excess with your gym wipes, just wipe that up, make it nice and tidy, and you're good to go. So that's the sort of thing that you need to do every 6 to 12 months, I would suggest, and it will keep your machine in top order.